Ladies and gentlemen, welcome out to the garage. It's a little bit trashed in here, and I'm trying something new. So, let's see. Are you able to see? You able to see this? Okay. So, you guys might know if you were watching any of my videos, I started working on suspension, and it's kind of the first time I've fiddled around with suspension on a car. And what I found was that my main box is somewhat ill-equipped to deal with it. Not completely unequipped, but not ideally equipped. And so if any of you guys have been working on cars for any period of time, you'll know that there's, that it's kind of a different animal if you're dealing with suspension and the underneath of a car compared to the engine itself. And if you guys know me, you also know I like to kind of think of ways to strategize, my tool setup. I did that with that brake kit there, which it was very nice to use, but there are some modifications coming. For example, I'll just tell you, I did not like using this cat ratchet. It actually got stuck on me almost the first time I was using it. And so I've already switched it out for my old gear wrench 84 tooth. So I just need to kind of make that modification here. Just for example, that's one thing that I did, or that I'm going to do with that kit. But as far as how I'm kind of going to adjust my setup to account for the work that you would do on the underside of a car, suspension, oriented type stuff. This is what I did. I got the Harbor Freight single drawer cart. And the idea behind this cart is that this is going to be the heavy duty cart. It's going to be wheels and tires, but it's also going to be like bottom end type stuff. And so my DeWalt Impact is going to move out of this drawer, and I'm also going to take all the heavy half-inch impact stuff, and it's going to move over here, and it's going to live in the top of this cart. And I haven't quite figured out how I'm gonna lay it all out yet. Right now, what I'm doing is just kind of putting the tools together. And here's some other tools that I've kind of identified that I think are gonna live in this thing. So, for example, this is this is like kind of, I didn't realize it, but like the Honda 19 mil crank pulley bolt. This is actually kind of like Honda has kind of like a combo set of tools to counter hold, and then to this heavy socket, because when you're dealing with that little 19 mil socket that's cranked down with the amount of torque that it is, you need something like this to be able to take it off. Otherwise, even this boy wouldn't do it. Anyway, I know crank pulley is kind of, it's bottom end, I guess, type work still. So that's going to live in here. You see, I got these that are going to live in there. These, which I use to kind of like line up the bushings, and then also like this is kind of helpful if you're taking off axles to give a little tappy tap, just to knock the axle free. I'm going to move my half-inch torque wrench to this cart. I've got my Tekton 6-32 wrench roll down there, which I don't use open-end wrenches all that much, but no way around it when doing suspension with like the tie rod end kind of adjustments. You need a couple wrenches, open-end wrenches for that. And surprisingly, I think I needed a 24 mil. So first time I've had to use that from that kit. And then, I've got my kind of, if you don't have the right tools, like this, just these are just some old serpentine belts that you can use to do that little counter hold trick. And then I got a couple hammers. But anyway, this is just the early preview. You guys know I like to kind of do my stuff up with some cutouts and some organization and whatnot. There's a couple other odds and ends that are on their way to build this out. Now, I haven't really, I was kind of getting away from this style of like Allen, and just going more to like the socket style. But when I found that the need to like counter hold on some of the suspension bits with like a wrench around, it's actually nicer to have something like this that you can insert and then just let it kind of push on some other suspension bits to hold it in place. Or I don't know, these can be kind of nicer to use than like a socket, I think. And so I think there is a place for these. So I've also got some other like triple square variety, Torx variety, that'll live in this kit. But yeah, and then kind of some pry bars. But anyway, yeah, I'm gonna be loading this thing out. And I don't want this box to be so heavy that it's, I want to keep it kind of purpose built. I'm probably going to end up modifying this loadout here. I'm going to adjust this drawer. So there's going to be changes coming, but yeah, so I'm going to keep like a heavy kind of wheels and tires and suspension cart, and then kind of more like top end that will like live at the front of the car. This one can kind of wheel around to either side, and then I still like having the brake kit, because when I'm down there at the wheel, it's actually really nice to be able to like kind of roll that around and have 90% of what you need, or at least what I needed when I was doing brakes. It worked really well. There are some cases where you got to go grab a deep socket or something, and I just stick it there. But anyway, I just wanted to give you guys a little preview. But yeah, I've just been busy trying to, I don't know, clean up, and even though it doesn't look like it, and I don't know. Anyways, so yeah, testing out this format. Hopefully it's okay. Maybe you guys let me know what you think. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.